यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टि। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम्। Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. Today's verses 16 to 19. So, we read 16 now. Natyashnadastu yogosti na chegandhamanashnadaha na chadi swapna shilasya jagrado naiva charjuna. Natyashnadastu yogosti na chegandhamanashnadaha na chadi swapna shilasya jagrado naiva charjuna. Natyashnadastu yogosti na chegandhamanashnadaha na chadi swapna shilasya jagrado naiva charjuna. Kiranakamaji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Natya asnasta tu yogosti na chaikantam anasnata na chati swapna silasya Vyakrito naiva charjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Singamaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नात्यस्नातस्तु जोगस्ति
नात्यश्नदस्तु योगोऽस्ति
नात्यस्नातस्तु जोगस्ति न चैकान्तमनस्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण। हरे कमलाजी।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति नाचा एकान्तम् अनस्नतः न चापि स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Okay. Renugamaj, you can read the translation.
There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, or Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 17. Yuktahara viharasyam yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasyam yogi bhavati dukkha. Yuktahara viharasyam yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasyam yogi bhavati dukkha. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogi bhavati dukkha. Right, Singha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna abodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Bol. Right. Rekha Mataji.
युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेतस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नवबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. हरे कृष्ण.
Did you read the previous one, 16?
Yes, Prabhu.
You have read the 16 also?
Yes, Prabhu, I read.
Okay, right. Okay, Renuka Mataji can read.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna
Swapnavabodhasya.
pati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Snigdha Mataji can read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, right. Verse 18. Yada viniyadam chittam atmanneva vatishtade nispೃha sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tadam. Yada viniyadam chittam atmanneva vatishtade nispೃha sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tadam. Yada viniyadam chittam atmanyevavatishtade nispೃha sarvakamebhyo ta ityuchyate tada. Gamadaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay.
Jada viniyata chittam atmaneva vatistate nispruha sarvakamebhyo yukto ityuchyate tada. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Renugamaji.
Yada viniyatam chittam atmaneva avadishtat. No, I'll read again. Yada viniyatam chittam atmaneva
Avatishtade.
atmane avatishtate nispraha sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. Hare Krishna.
Rekamaji.
यदा विनेतं चित्तम् आत्मने एव अवस्थितते निष्पृहा सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इति उच्यते तदा. हरे कृष्ण.
Read the translation also.
When the yogi by practice of yoga disciples his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to have attained yoga. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Right. Verse 19. Yatha divo nivadasto nengade somapasmృtam yogino yadachittasya yunchado yogamatmanah. Yatha divo nivadasto nengade somapasmృtam yogino yadachittasya yunchado yogamatmanah. Yatha divo nivadasto nengade somapasmృtam yogino yadachittasya yunchado yogamatmanah. Right. Renukamaji. She's left. Okay, Snigdha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Jatha deepo nirastasto ningate sopama smruta yogino jatta chittasya junjato yogamatmanaha. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna. Yes, Rekha Maji.
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गता सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यथा चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Snigdha Maji, you can read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. As a lamp in a windless place doesn't waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगल्पदे गोपेशा गोपिका कांदा राधा कांदा नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री द्वैत दादर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। न अत्यश्नदस्तु योगोस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नदः न चादि स्वप्नशीलस्य जागृतो नैव चार्जुन। There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So Krishna is describing how a yogi is climbing the ladder to Yogaruda state. The external things he has described, like finding a secluded and a sanctified place, then having a seat of one's own, how to position the seat, which are the paraphernalia which should be put on the seat, like kusa grass, deer skin, and soft cloth, and then firmly sitting on the this seat, holding the body erect, that is straight line, body, neck, and head in straight line, and concentrating on the tip of the nose or between the eyebrows, controlling the mind and senses and activities, and focusing only on the Paramatma, Krishna Paramatma. The yogi starts the meditation. A few things are there that he should always be practicing brahmacharya. He should not be, he should not indulge in sex that time. And he should be fearless. He should not have any thoughts of fear, restlessness, agitation, fears regarding the welfare of his family, one's own welfare. whether we have taken a right decision in coming to this. So all those things may be playing in the mind, but these fears should be quelled by concentrating intently on the Paramatma. So, I mean, in that manner, one is getting purified, Atma Vishuddhe. So, whole process of all yogas is purification only. Only by purification of the self can come out of bondage. We are impure because we are in the bondage state, bound by the gunas. So only when we come out of the gunas, then only self becomes pure. Self, of course, is always is pure only. It's pure state because self cannot be made impure because self is by Swarupa, by nature, its own nature is pure only. Having come to contact with matter only, it appears to be tainted. Like if you have a tube light, white tube light is there, and then if you put some black wrapper on that, it appears black. If you put red, it appears red, and then any color you put on the white tube light, it appears the same. It takes the same color, but ultimately it is white only. Exactly the same way, the soul, coming to contact with Tamogun, Rajogun, and Satugun, or mixture of all those things, is become impure. So, the way to come out of bondage is to take up the wrapping of these gunas of the material world, which we are inside that material world now, with the wrappings, 8 wrappings. So Prashantatma, all the agitation, completely quietening all those agitations in the mind. And Manasamyam machitto yukta asidamatparaha. So having me as supreme. Matpara means coming me as supreme. Having me as a goal, the only goal. Matpara means the only goal is Krishna only. And then focusing on Krishna. That way, the yogi become pure and yujjan neva sadatmanam yogi niyadamanasaha shantin nirvana paramam matsamstam adhigachari. Now slowly he gets out of the material existence and attains to kingdom of God. So that is given verse 15. But then before that, Krishna explains that how the other process like eating, sleeping habits, how it should be regulated. It should be temperate. That's what Srila Prabhupada is using. One should be temperate in that term. Na adi ashnadasya yogosti na chegandamanashnadaha. So it should be regulated then. You should not eat more. Overeating is always ruled out. So many problems are overeating. You become obese, then you become lethargic, then you need more sleep. So many problems overeating. Because the sun and the tongue has developed a taste for so many rubbish things, garbage. So we are always fond of this junk food. And animal food is such junk food. And we are always interested in tasting this animal food. So one who is in Tamoguna, he very much likes this animal food. In the 17th chapter, Krishna describes the eating habits or food habits of the 3 persons in the 3 gunas, Satuguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Satuguna people, they eat very juicy, relishable, palatable food items, makes them very happy, longevity, strength of mind and heart and body. is developed, and is always in a happy frame of mind. Such food is in the sattvic mode, like pulses, grains, sugar, milk, all these things, honey. These are all items. These are food products which are in the mode of sattva mode of goodness. And then very salty, very what they call burning sensation, very hot, bitter. Those type of food are released by persons in Rajogun. And those food which is lost all taste by because of so much time duration, it becomes decayed, foul smelling. All those food are always released by people in Tamogun also. So you may be surprised why there are people also who like this foul smelling food. Yes, they release this. So because of the gunas, there are so many types of gunas are there, and so many eating habits also. In English, there is a saying that you are what you eat. So when you eat all this rubbishness, junk food, you become junk. So overeating is always ruled out. Now or in spiritual life, it is encouraged. At the same time, undereating also, undernourishment, not eating at all, that is also not advisable. You have to understand that we need this body. Maintenance of body is essential to discharge our devotional service or spiritual activities. Activity is something which needs energy, which needs strength. So to maintain this strength and level of energy, food is required. So there is a famous Ayurvedic grantha called Charaka Samhita. Charaka Samhita. Charaka is the name of a sage, and he has written a book. This is called Charaka Samhita. So he says, Chariram Madhyamam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. Sharira Madhyamam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. So if you are to execute the spiritual activities, execute the religious activities or devotional services, body is a medium. So body has to be maintained for this purpose only. Now, when you indulge in his body, that becomes, then you become what we call bhogi. So yogi is there, then bhogi is there. Bhogi means he just want to release all this food and eats and eats. And sense gratification, everything is there. And ultimately he becomes a rogi. So yogi, bhogi and rogi is there. And even Ramayana, it says that Tanu binna bhajana veda nahim varana. Tanu means body. Tanu binna bhajana. Bhajana means devotion service. Tanu binna devotion service. Veda nahim varana. Vedas do not recommend that. So in Vedas, basically Vedas are spiritual science. But there are always every Vedas has got its own what do you call subparts, divisions, and in those divisions you will find so many material sciences are also been discussed. Like you have Ayurveda, it is connected to Atharva Veda. Then you have what do you call Jyotisha. Jyotisha means then Dhanur Veda. So many sciences are there. So many sciences are. Among that science, Adhyatma Vidya is considered to be the best. That Krishna gives in verse 32 of 10th chapter. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. All the sciences, Adhyatma Vidya is the best. But that doesn't mean that you have to reject some material science. Material science is required to maintain the body, and the body's maintenance is required to execute the devotion service. So that way, maintenance of body becomes one of these devotional activities. The body can be used. There are two ways of using a body. You can use a body for discharging devotional service, and body can be used for sense gratification. That is given in so many Upanishads. You'll find this. So always take nice food, sattvic food. But it is not necessary enough that vegetables, fruits, milk, so many things are there in Satguna. But it's not enough that you eat sattvic food alone. Then what you should take then? Okay, people in Satogana, they can eat the grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, sugar, honey, all those things is very, very nice. But Srila Prabhupada says it is not enough that you eat just sattvic food alone.
Remnants of Krishna. Prasadam.
Yes, remnants. So that means you have to offer to Krishna. Then only becomes purified. Simply these vegetables, fruits, and all that, and by themselves it is not pure. It is also product of this matter. I mean, matter only, of gunas only. To purify this food, you have to offer. So that's why, otherwise you are unnecessarily getting to bondage again. Bhunchate te togam pabam ye pajandi atmakaranat. If you are cooking for yourself, for your tongue, for your relation, and then you are only attracting sins only. So Krishna conscious person always offers to Krishna only and eats only after taking offering to Krishna. Sometimes it may happen that you are traveling, but what happens most of the times, devotees cook some dry fruits and dry prasadam, and so that it can last for 1 or 2 days. Suppose you are going by train from south to north, like from Kerala to Delhi, and travel maybe for 2 days. So devotees normally they carry with them fruits, dry fruits, and then dry prasadams. Suppose that is not available, then what you can do is take some fruits and say, offer to by mind to Krishna, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu, 3 times you say, and then you can eat this. Then you have to be temperate. Then you cannot buy all this food, some that you will find stalls and in the hotels. Our tongue is very mischievous. It is a rogue. It is always asking for so many different tastes. So, Krishna conscious person is very careful that in all the situations, he is able to take prasadam only. They plan their life in such a manner that he never becomes there's no shortage of prasadam, or there's not a situation in which he is not able to take prasadam. Of course, if you are going for preaching for long distances, a long time, that time you can take some from outside food also. That Srila Prabhupada says that is different, because you are doing it for the sake of preaching only. He even goes extent that suppose you are not getting anything, you can eat meat also, because preaching is most important. But in normal situations, in normal conditions, you always take prasadam only, and that is yukta hara. It's given next yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So how can you become a yogi without any pains? Dukkha means destroying dukkha, because it's basically all this process maybe sound maybe very difficult to execute, gives you so much pain. But when you do it in a temperate way, then becomes painless. That is why Krishna says dukkha yogi bhavati dukkha. Dukkha means diminishing the pains, mitigating the pain. How? Yuktaharam. Yuktahara, we have seen what is Yuktahara. Of course, as you become more and more elevated, your intake of prasadam also becomes reduced. You don't need huge quantities. Being a devotee, sometimes some devotees, they take huge quantities of prasadam. Srila Prabhupada, and in our Western countries and London, ISKCON temples and all that, said that sometimes some yogi, some bhakta and devotee, he eats some 15 to 20 roti chapatis. Of course, it's prasadam only, but still then, you are not supposed to take so much. In H.G.Satyavrta, he says that you have to half fill the body, stomach, half 50% by food, 25% by water, and 25% should be made a vacuum, empty. I mean, should be space should be there for the free flow of what you call air circulation. Vayu sanchara. Vayu sanchara means air circulation. Otherwise, if you are fully packing it full, then there is every chance that you get indigestion and become very difficult. Because stomach is full and all that, get a very discomfort. So to avoid that, only fill the stomach 50% with food, 25% with the water, and the rest 25% should be kept there for air circulation. But then some are devout, like our Shad Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and all that. They need very little food. Raghunath Das Goswami said that he drinks only just one glass of what do you call it, buttermilk every day. That's all. But Raghunath Das Goswami, as we know, but he came from very aristocratic and very wealthy family. His father's annual income was 12 lakhs coins every year, because that is about 500 years back. 12 lakhs per year. So you can imagine how much wealth he was having. So he left everything. He came out of his house, because right from the young age, he wanted to be a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once he had a fortunate to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and from that day onwards, was fixed that I don't want any of the Grihastha life. I just want to be his devotee only and serve him. So finally, he came out of the house and then ran all the way to Puri and approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him, then put him under charge of Swarup Damodar Prabhu and Rai Raman, the most close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they are both considered to be incarnation of Lalita Sakhi and Vishaka Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi and Vishaka Sakhi are very, very attached. I mean, the closest gopi of Radharani, Lalita Vishaka. So, Swarup Damodar is Lalita Sakhi and Rai Ramanand, the Vishaka Sakhi. So Raghunath Das Goswami is put under Swarup Damodar, and Swarup Damodar made all arrangements to gets some very palatable dishes every day. After eating for 1 week, Raghunath Das Goswami decided, okay, this is not way, because I'm getting only very, very, very palatable dishes. I should not eat like that. So he came out of the house, stopped eating from the house, and then went to the Simhadwar of Puri temple. And then he stood outside and with his begging bowl. And then what happened? People started filling this begging bowl with all the fruits, all the prasadam of Jagannath. So he was getting very sumptuous food that also, that way also. So again, he became unhappy. No, I'm eating so much. I'm eating so much sumptuously. I'm eating every day. I should not stand in front of some other. I should not beg. What he did that he went back and in a very small place near this what they call the cow shed. He was staying in the cow shed, and near the cow shed, a small canal was flowing. And from the canal, you can see some grains, basic grains used from Jagannath. And you should collect these grains from this water and then eat that grains only. So they are very, very, very highly elevated. That's why they are called Goswamis. And they need to sleep only 2 hours. Rupa Goswami sleeps only for 2 hours. When our Haridas Thakura, he will not take a grain of food, or he will not sleep also until he completes 300,000 names of Krishna, 3 lakhs names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That means by calculation it comes to 192 rounds. We are supposed to chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds takes us about 2 hours. Roughly below that, just below 2 hours. Maybe say 105 minutes, 106 minutes, somewhere around that. So 192 means how much it will come? Almost 12 into 2, 24. It's below that 2 hours. So it means comes to about 22 hours per day. 22 hours, and you are left with 2 hours. And the 2 hours, he sleeps for 2 hours and eats some food. That was his daily routine. So that is when you become so advanced, your requirement for this food and sleep becomes reduced. Yukta hari viharasya, yukta cheshtasya. So yukta cheshtasya, one who one maintains karmasum in discharging duties. That also becomes regulated. Duty is only for discharging Krishna consciousness, and therefore any unnecessary time spending doing other activities is become useless. It becomes avyartha kalatvam. It is called avyartha kalatvam, wasting time. Indulging in unnecessary activities which takes up so much time is detrimental to our devotion. So in Chaitanya Chudamani, you find this avyakta kalatvam is one of the qualities of a disciple, of a devotee. First devotee, this is Shanti. Shanti means he doesn't have any material desires. Shanti. Then he has taste for ruchi, nama gana sada ruchi. Nama gana sada ruchi. He is always religious, chanting and kirtaning, doing sankirtan always, and then chanting. He has developed taste for that. So that also, that way we can also judge ourselves, we can evaluate ourselves by understanding how much we are relation chanting and japa. If we have developed a taste for japa and sankirtan, then we can understand that we are slowly advancing. Because once that taste develops, then naturally other inferior tastes will be reduced. Like that. Param drishtva nivartande. So we can always pray to Krishna, let me have this taste for chanting Krishna, let me have a taste for Sankirtan, Ruchi. So Nama Gana Sata Ruchi. If you develop the taste, you can bow down to Krishna, you can bow down to Jagannath and cry for this taste for chanting. That is the only way to control our mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Unless you develop taste in chantings. And Rupa Goswami, in one of his so many books, he says, he tells to Sanatana Goswami's brother, oh brother, I never knew so much taste is in Krishna, so much love is, so much nectar in Krishna's name. I'm realizing now. I'm relishing this nama now. Actually, it's nectar only. The Krishna's name is nectar only, but you have to really realize that. In Padma Purana, I think that is mentioned. Purana or Vishnu Purana, some Purana it is there. There is Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions. Chintamani Krishna, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Nama Krishna is considered Chintamani, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto, Abhinyatvan Nama Namino. There is no difference between Krishna and his name. No difference between Krishna and his name, because Krishna is absolute. So there is no difference between Krishna and his body and his mind and his paraphernalia and his name. Everything is same. Everything is absolute. Because nothing related to Krishna is material. So if you understand that Nama, name of Krishna is Krishna itself or himself, when you realize that by chanting continuously, then you slowly come to that platform of relishing and enjoyment, developing the high taste for Nama. So those devotees of high order, they always find Nama Gana Sataruchi. Then Avyartha Kalatvat. Once you develop the taste, then you'll not waste your time. Then Priti Stad Stala what do you call it? Residence, taste for his residence, where Krishna is Krishna's Dham. Krishna is everywhere. There is a difference. That is different. But then he resides in some special places like Vrindavan, because he was there. And so Vrindavan, then Puri, then Navadvip, and all those places. Pridistat Vasadistale. Pridistat Vasadistale. Vasadi means residence. Where he resides, devotee is very happy to be there. That's why we always like to go to Vrindavan, Puri, and Navadvip. So these are the symptoms of a devotee who have developed this taste for Krishna. By regulating sleep, by regulating his activities, by regulating eating habits, and then he becomes a first-class yogi. And the first-class yogi is always bhakta only. That is given 16.4 and yoginam api sarvesham mad gade nandaratmana shraddhavan bhajade yomam sa yogi uttamam. He says that. Last verse of Shraddhavan Bhajade Yomam Same Yuktatamo Madaha. Same Yuktatamo Mada. Yuktatama, highest is Yukta. So, as far as work is concerned, the Krishna conscious person does not do any activity which is not connected to Krishna. Now, you may say you are working, going to work, earning some salary. Yes, I am working, I am earning salary because I want to serve Krishna. That's why. So always behind any activity, Krishna's priority is always there. Serving Krishna is always should be our priority in any circumstances. Why you want to take care of your children? Because I want them to become a devotee of Krishna. I want them to bring up in Krishna consciousness. For that matter, you have to be trained yourself at a young age itself. At least by the time you're getting married, if you're Krishna consciousness, then you can look after, bring up your children very nicely. So Krishna conscious persons is not doing any sense gratification. Sometimes people relish the work. In our bank and all that, we have a HRD, and with that, it is they say that what do you call work enjoyment. You should develop this enjoyment in your work. That is the goal of this. The management tries to instill you that feeling that you should enjoy the work. But a Krishna conscious person is detached in work. At the same time, he's efficient also. If you are efficient, you can discharge your work and in little time. It will not take too much time. Whatever is required from you, by whatever is expected from you by the management, you can easily fulfill by developing efficiency. And efficiency will be automatically there. When you are detached from matter, when there is no overload of material things in your mind, the mind works very fast and intelligence also becomes very purified. And with that purified intelligence, you can execute your work very easily. Why? Because you want to save time. Do the work, the material work, all the material work as efficiently as possible within as little as time. And the rest of the time you can spend for chanting and all those activities. So that means behind every activity, the priority is for devotional service only. That way, 24 hours you are able to in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada always says you should be Krishna conscious 24 hours. So you may ask that, but I am doing so many work also other than Krishna consciousness. How can it be Krishna consciousness? And so this way you can connect this your work with Krishna. Then becomes Krishna consciousness. It's not that you are doing some work and enjoying that work and then say that I am doing for Krishna. That is cheating. You have to work as given. It is coming 18th chapter. 18th chapter is very given. What is a model person who is doing the work? The karta. The person, karta mode, I think 18.223. Yes, 26. Mukta Sango Anhamvadi Dhri Ulsaha Saminmida Siddhi Asiddhyo Nirvigara Karta Satya Uchade. Mukta Sangha Anhamvadi. Liberated from material association. You are not, associating too much with your colleagues. You are not associating too much with your, people connected with the work. And Anahamvadi, you are not thinking that I am doing this. Dhridi Ulsaha Saminda, but with enthusiasm, intelligence, then you do it. Then you are not concerned about whether this work is going to be successful or not. Siddhya Siddhyonari Vigara, that person is conservative, work in mode of goodness. He's not simply there to do this efficiently because why are you doing efficiently? Because you can spend balance of time with Krishna. This is how you connect everything to Krishna. So because then because he is regulated in his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness, and all other activities, there is no material misery for him. And then yada vinimayam chittam atmenneva avatishtade nispriha sarvakamebhyo yukta itichade. Because now he is free from all those desires. Nispriha, without any desires, sarvagamebhyo. Being Krishna conscious, being temperate and regulated in all his activities, naturally, he will not have any material desires. So Srila Prabhupada's purport is giving from Ambarish Maharaj. Of course, this all in this Savayamana Krishna Padaravindu is also quoted in 2.61 also. You will find the purport in 2.61 also. The three there are 18.20, 18, 19, 20, 3 verses. You can read the purport there. Very nice. Savayamana Krishna Padaravindu Vajamsi Vaikunda Gunanu Varnane. What should be used to describe the Vaikunta planet? Karo Hare Mandira Marjanadishu. Hands should be used to clean that temple of Krishna. Shudim Chagara Satkudo, ears for hearing Krishna's pastimes. Mugundalinga Ale Darshanidishu, eyes for seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. Tadbritya Gata Spashanga Sangamam. The skin, the touch, sense of touch should be used for embracing the devotees of Krishna. Granam Chatatpa the Saroja Saurave, and power of smelling should be used for smell that flowers in his lotus feet. And Srimad Tulasiya Rasanam Tadapve, tongue should be used for tasting the tulasi leaves. Pado Hare Kshetra Padani Sasmane Parshane. Shiro Hrishikesha Padapi Vandane. Leg should be used for circumambulating or going to Krishna's temple. And head should be used for paying obeisances. Kamam Chadasi Natu Kama Kamiya. And desire should be there for to serve Krishna only. That's the only desire. No other desires except serving Krishna. Kamam Chadasi Natu Kama Kamiya. So desire, you can see that desire is there, desire for fruitive activities and desire for Krishna. So begins, that means desire, you cannot, and no person can live without desire because it is instilled in your surup. The desire is there in your surup. It is not that you are mere consciousness only. And that is Mayavadi philosophy. They say the soul is nothing but consciousness only. No. Activity is connected to the soul because soul is a living entity having pure desires and pure work associated with the desires. It is associated with that type of desires. When you come to material platform, you develop material desires. So desires is always there. Cannot live without desires because a part of your life. And living in city is living only. It's not mere consciousness. So that person who has attained that level, it is compared to a lamp in a what you call windless place. Nivada, so vada means air. Nivada means without air, windless place. In windless place, where what is that? A lamp in a windless place. Suppose a lamp is kept there in a windy place, immediately it will be blown out. In a windless place, the lamp, the flame will glow very nicely. It will be very still and bright without wavering. The wick will be always very steady. Now we can see the lamp, the wick will always, bored because of the wind and all that. So in a windless place, just as a flame of the lamp burns very nicely, steadily, like that, the chitta of a yogi, it is compared to this the lamp in a windless place. Is remaining steady, always steady in meditation because it is always meditating on the super self. No chance of the mind to waver. This is how you become a yogi. And in next verses, you'll find how he has realized. 20 to 23, you'll find next verses. The self-realization, that is Brahman realization state is described. Next 4 verses. That we'll see on Saturday. So thank you very much. Any clarification you need? Okay, right. Snigdha Maji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, actually, I have a small doubt.
Please.
Along with japa, we can do little dhyana also. Yeah, only japa. That time we'll utilize in japa only.
Japa is best because japa, dhyana. What is japa? Japa is also dhyana only. That means we say mantra meditation. When you're intently hearing the mantra, becomes japa, dhyana only. Because without chanting, because the sound is most important.
Yes, Prabhu. No
Because
need to. no need to remember the Swarup of Prabhu in mind?
No. Just listen, hear the word. Because that's why we said there is no difference between Krishna and his name. And especially in Kali Yuga, Krishna comes in the form of a name only. That is given there. In Kali Yuga, Krishna comes in the form of name only. So that's why we say we only chant, listen. Srila Prabhupada always say, listen. Listen intently without derivation. Listen only to words, no other thing. Think of nothing else. That's why if you develop that, you can see that. If you chant intently, in the background, you should always have this kind of, what we are chanting, what is Krishna, Krishna's paraphernalia, qualities, everything should be there in the background of the mind. In the foreground, you only chanting only. The activities in the background should not come to from the foreground. That you should be very careful. It only triggers the background things. It enables you why you are chanting, what is the greatness of chanting. All those things are contained in the background of your mind only. That triggers this chanting. But while chanting, in the foreground, only the sound only, you should focus only the sound only. Nothing else. It'll be very maybe difficult, but it's very interesting also. Try the chanting.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Shall I render Nursing Kirtan?
Please.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlad Ladadaine, Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha, Shilatanka Nakhalai, Ito Narsingho Parato Narsingho, Yato Yami Tato Narsingho, Bahir Narsinga Hridayir Narsinga Narsingam Adi Sharanang Prapadi Tabakara Kamalabari Nakha Madhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanabhrangam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsingadev 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 Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narahari 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 Jaya Narahari Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Om Ugrang Birang Mahavishnum Jolantang Sharvatomukham Nrsinghang Bhishanang Bhadrang Mrityu Namamyaham Om Ugrang Birang Mahavishnum Jolantang Sharvatomukham Nrsinghang Bhishanang Bhadrang Mrityu Namamyaham Om Ugrang Birang Mahavishnum Jolantang Sharvatomukham Nrsinghang Bhishanang Bhadrang Mrityu Namamyaham Jai Nrsimha Sri Nrsimha Jai Sri Nrsimha Prahladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bhanga Jai Nrsimha Sri Nrsimha Jai Sri Nrsimha Prahladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bhanga Jai Nrsimha Sri Nrsimha Jai Sri Nrsimha Prahladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bhanga Sarva Vigna Vinashang Sri Nrsimha Bhagavan ki Jai.
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 Vancha kalpadrubhascha.
Kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo.
Nandakodi Vaishnavrinda ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Jai Ho Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.